The cultivator world whispered of many powerful figures, immortal emperors, ancient spirits, celestial demons. Yet none of them carried a name that sent shivers down the spines of even the most arrogant, nascent soul cultivators like the Allseer. Wang Lin first heard the name not in tales of glory, but in warnings whispered in blood. In the aftermath of Suzaku's battles, survivors spoke of an immortal whose eyes could pierce through all illusions, who could see into a cultivator's soul and unravel the very threads of destiny. But for Wang Lin, the encounter was not hearsay. It was personal. When he first stood before the All-Seer, he felt something he had not felt in years: vulnerability. The All-Seer's gaze cut deeper than swords, stripping away Wang Lin's schemes, his secrets, even the fragile determination in his heart. "You are interesting," the All-Seer had said, his voice calm yet carrying the weight of ages. "A mortal boy who dares to defy the heavens. But fate is not yours to control, it is mine." From that moment, Wang Lin understood. This was no ordinary foe. This was a being who stood not merely in his way, but above his path. The All-Seer was not a rival to be killed. He was a force, one that Wang Lin would have to outwit, survive, and perhaps one day overthrow. And in the silent depths of his heart, Wang Lin swore, "If the heavens themselves back this man, then I will defy even the heavens." Legends of the All-Seer were contradictions, fragments scattered like broken glass. Some claimed he was once a mortal child abandoned in the wilderness, who gained enlightenment after staring into the night sky until the stars bled into his soul. Others whispered he was a fallen immortal who had stolen a forbidden eye technique from the celestial clan, granting him dominion over fate itself. But the most chilling tale was older still. It spoke of a wandering cultivator who, millennia ago, sought the ultimate truth of heaven and earth. He climbed mountains that pierced the clouds, drank from rivers of flame, and meditated beneath the void. At last, he gazed into the abyss beyond the world, into the source of fate itself. The abyss gazed back. What returned was no longer a man. His left eye reflected the past, his right eye revealed the future, and in his mind grew a voice not his own, something that whispered of destiny's patterns and the power to bend them. Thus, the man ceased to be. He became the All-Seer. But origin stories were dangerous. The truth was buried under lies, and each tale contradicted the next. Wang Lin himself did not know which story was real. What he did know was this: whenever the All-Seer appeared, destinies broke. Cultivators who thought themselves untouchable were reduced to pawns. Empires crumbled without reason. And slowly, painfully, Wang Lin realized that much of his own suffering, the losses he bore, the trials he endured, had threads tied to this figure's unseen hand. The Allseer was not just an enemy, he was the architect of Wang Lin's tragedy. The confrontation came years later. Wang Lin had ascended in strength, his power stretching far beyond the youth who once trembled at the sight of the Allseer. But when they met again, nothing had changed. The Allseer stood calmly, his robes flowing like smoke, his gaze distant yet terrifyingly sharp. "You've grown, boy," he said softly, as though speaking to a child. "But no matter how high you climb, you will always move on the board I have already set." Wang Lin clenched his fists. His mind replayed every death, every betrayal, every lonely night spent clawing toward power, all orchestrated in some way by this man. "Then I will burn the board," Wang Lin hissed. The Allseer smiled, but it was not amusement. It was pity. "Fate does not burn, and those who try are swallowed." Their clash shook the heavens, but even as Wang Lin fought with all his strength, he could not shake the feeling that the Allseer was not truly fighting. He was watching. measuring. And in the end, as the battle tore reality apart, the All-Seer simply vanished, leaving behind a single echo of his voice. Disciple of fate or breaker of it, we shall see. Wang Lin stood alone in the wreckage, his body bloodied, his heart colder than ever. The fight was not over. It had only begun. Because the All-Seer was not just an enemy to defeat, he was the embodiment of the very fate Wang Lin swore to destroy. And deep within, Wang Lin feared one thing above all. What if, in the end, he discovered that the All-Seer was not his greatest enemy, but his greatest mirror? Who truly is the All-Seer? A fallen immortal, a thief of heaven's secrets, or something far more terrifying? The truth lies hidden, waiting for the day it shatters Wang Lin's path forever.